Hello, everyone. I'm Faith Dunbar. I'm going to be presenting dynamic systems and whole language intervention. An overview of the approach: it uses oral language facilitation techniques and visual tools that represent letter to sound and word meaning relationships. It proposes if a child processes language as a whole, the child will also learn structures of sentences, word meaning, and grammatical morphemes. It's common to see this approach in children who have difficulties with reading ability. So this approach accounts for oral and written language development. It proposes phonological development relates to larger language patterns. It's also targeted along with language development of certain aspects of language like semantics and structure. Using the approach, as mentioned before, it uses visual tools such as phonic faces. So morphophonic faces are used in the approach. You can see them over here. So it reflects the first letter of the word, and the remainder of the word is overlaid with the drawing that represents the meaning of the word. So over here you can see egg. You can see he has an E where his mouth is and the drawing of an egg. Same thing for cake and bread. Population. Population includes preschool children who are presenting with a phonological delay. This is important for children who have a delay in vocabulary, grammar, and different aspects of language, and who are at risk at failure to develop these written language abilities. A demonstration of this approach. Okay. So I think that video gave a really great demonstration of the approach. The child, as we saw at the end, the child she is helping. She also uses the font faces that we saw previously, and she targets language as a whole. She uses multiple aspects of language, so we're not seeing the usual traditional articulation approach. We're using an approach that focuses on sound production and the phonological aspects of language. So, strengths and weaknesses of that. Strengths include improving speech sound production while using other aspects of language organization techniques like modeling and expansion that are shown to be effective in increasing the complexity of children's language, improving phonological skills with speech skills. So I do think this is a great approach for someone with a moderate to severe phonological disorder who is at risk of failure for different aspects of language development, whether that is oral or written. Just like we saw in the video, it showed a kind of that she was reading something rather than looking at picture cards and just focusing on sound production. It focused on the structure of a sentence and using that visual tool with it. A weakness described is that because there's such a huge focus on multiple aspects, attention may be drawn to speech sound errors and not the actual phonology. So there's a big debate on using phonics in favor of approaches that discourage analysis below the word level. So because there is such a focus like on the phonological aspect of the oral and written language development and on the speech sound production, it's I think it can be kind of difficult for the clinician just to focus on all those things at once and when dealing with the client, because I know kind of that maybe first instinct is to just focus on something else, especially I feel like for a starting clinician, it's difficult to focus on all of these things. And I'm sure it'll get better in time, but for me, I feel like personally that would be really difficult. But I think it is a great approach. Recommendations. I wouldn't recommend this approach for a mild phonological disorder just because I don't think it is needed if there's not such a delay in their language development. But for moderate to severe phonological disorders, I would greatly consider this approach because it would improve those aspects along with the speech sound production, which is, I think, a great approach. And here are my citations. I hope you guys learned more about dynamic and whole language intervention. And thank you guys.